New York, what's up, New York? Listen, we in New York, right? This is hip-hop. This is hip-hop.
Welcome to Crash the Industry TV, where we showcase the legends who've shaped their fields and the futures they've inspired. Tonight, we bring you the extraordinary journey of a Bronx-born music visionary, Amadeus. Raised in the heart of the Bronx, Amadeus' story begins where raw talent meets unrelenting determination. Inspired by the rhythms of the Gospels and hip-hop, he found his first love in music at an early age. He started small, crafting beats and learning the art of production from the ground up. But it wouldn't stay small for long. Pause. Fast forward to today. Amadeus is a multi-platinum producer with a legacy that spans chart-topping hits from ESPN themes and a reputation for excellence in the music industry. As Trey Songz's official music director, Amadeus has electrified stages worldwide, blending the art of production with the power of live performance. Not just a wonder, but also a teacher. Amadeus dedicates his time to inspiring the next generation through his music one-on-one college tour, giving young creators the tools to rise. From mentoring rising stars to producing timeless hits, Amadeus is proof that passion, discipline, and hustle can take you from the Bronx to the world stage. And this is why he's perfect for passing the torch. This is Amadeus, producer, performer, mentor, and mogul. Get ready to crash the industry with one of the greats. What's going on, my brother?
What an intro.
I'm trying to compete with Shay Shay.
Listen, man, that intro was phenomenal. I had to like sit down and bow my head and just and appreciate all of the love and support. You know what I mean? Sometimes when you're moving and you're working towards your passion and your dreams and you're on the grind, sometimes you don't really take time to really just sit and bask in the ambience of how blessed you really are and what you've really done. So, you know, to hear those words articulated the way they were, grateful.
No, you have a great history and a great background, and it goes deep. So when I read your bio, I was like, I got a long way to go. I was just like, and I tried to skim through it because I don't want the conversation to sound generic.
Right.
You know, so that's what I was talking to you about before. Like,
Appreciate
I just skimmed
that.
through it, and I was just, as I kept skimming through it, I was like, this is the longest skim through I've ever. But you know, when you put in that much work, I think your accolades deserve to be recognized.
Thank you, my brother. Appreciate you.
And you still are doing it. So like I said to you, you're at that phase where it's like, all right, he's giving back to the community, and that's something that I'm pushing towards too. So with that being said, let me get into my first question I have for you. You've worked with some of the biggest names in the industry, from Chris Brown to Jennifer Lopez. What was one of the moments in your career where that felt surreal?
Probably my first placement as a producer. You know, being young, still in high school, Foxy Brown, shout out to Foxy Brown, was the first artist that I produced for that was officially released. So we had two songs. One was called Cradle to the Grave, which is actually the theme song and title to the movie Cradle to the Grave, movie and soundtrack. Rest in peace, DMX, who starred in that and directed that. So that was the first thing we did. She also did a diss record, right? Her and Eve had beef at that moment back then, and she made a record called Get Off Me. And those two were the first records that I ever, you know, were placed for me as a producer. So it started out really high, right? So when, you know, I was able to go to the movies, hear the song in the movie. At the end of the movie, you know, the credits are rolling. I see my name in the credits. You know, so a young kid from the Bronx that have dreams and aspirations to, you know, be a reputable producer, that was the start. You know, I remember jumping up in the movie theater like, yo, that's me. And everybody was like looking at me like I was nuts. Like, I was like, I made that song, that's me right there. So such a dope moment. And then fast forward to like the diss record, you know, Funkmaster Flex being one of the biggest DJs in New York, you know, dropping bombs all over the record, talking crazy. New Foxy Brown going crazy. Eve, what's good? Like, and dropping bombs.
He's like the biggest instigator.
Bro. And I ain't gonna hold you, it's funny because I was nervous. I was nervous because, you know, me being young and in the game and new to the game, I didn't know how it worked. So I thought Foxy's beef was my beef. because of me producing the record. You know what I mean? So I'm like, man, I really love Rough Riders, and I was living in Yonkers at the time. So like Kiss and Jada and them were right down the street. I'm like, man, what if they figure out this is me that made that record? But then, you know, I sat down with a few OG producers, and they was like, nah, man, that's their beef. You know, when it comes to music and production, you know, you produced it, but you didn't write it. You know, you created the blueprint for her to talk. You know, on. So that was definitely a dope moment, man. So when you fast forward today, you know, I've been a part of a few diss records. So that was the first one. And then as a few other ones developed, you know, I kind of enjoyed it more.
You could have, it could have went south like what happened with Ron Browse.
What happened with Ron?
When he did the Eat the Beat, and then he kind of like got blackballed for a few years. Like,
See?
It could have went that way, but you know he bounced back, and shout out to Ron. That's my
whack.
guy.
That's my bro, man.
He's doing his thing.
That's whack though, because at the end of the day, it's like, again, we made the beat, and it had nothing to do with Jay and nothing to do with Nas, nothing to do with Foxy. Like I didn't even know that she would hear it.
That's the same thing he said.
You know what I'm saying? We just made the beat in our own zone, in our own space, not knowing that would be picked for that. You know what I mean? So I think producers should have nothing to do with that, man.
I asked him about that too. He was like, I had no idea this was gonna happen.
Crazy. But definitely a big moment for us as producers, you know what I mean?
And that was a phenomenal record. So,
yeah, that was a big diss record. Another record I did was, because I don't really talk about it, is Take Him to Church. So that was Cam and Mace going at it. Joel Santana was on it, Uncasa was on the record. And it was like the 20th year anniversary of Diplomatic Immunity 2. And that song was on that album. And so I posted it on my Instagram. But just to see where they are today,
I was just about to say
and have their
that.
show as brothers. You know, we fussing. You know, I got a brother, I got a sister, I got siblings, we got family. Man, you show up Thanksgiving and a brawl breaks out. Like that's normal. You know what I'm saying? So it's good to see them together and back and getting money. Yeah, yeah.
For the culture, it was great that they reconciled for the culture. Sometimes you go apart to when you come back together. It's a bigger situation.
Absolutely.
They're like right now the biggest
podcast,
podcast, sports show in the game right now. Oh,
it's hilarious.
And they're just being them.
Yeah.
And it's great to see. I love it. So being that you're Trey Songz music director, performing live on some of the world's biggest stages, how do you balance the pressure to perfect that energy live?
Man, it's a feeling. You know, one thing I've never done as a creator was try to be perfect, right? And I talked about this before in regards to like me just wanting to be great and do what I love and do what I do. Like I never got into the game saying I wanted to be the best. You know what I'm saying? I don't got to be the best to be great. You know what I'm saying? I don't got to be the best to get a ring. I don't. You know what I'm saying? So when you compare it to like the NBA or like the NFL, like there's a bunch of people that's on the team. Like my team is the Giants, my team is the Yankees, my team is the Knicks. You know, but LeBron or MJ, whoever you want to say is the greatest, like he needed all of the other players to be a part of the team in order for them to win the chip. As great as they are, they still need it. Imagine LeBron going out there dolo and going against Denver.
Not happening.
As dope as he is, he's not going to win. He needs the rest of the team. So I never really sought out to be the best. I just wanted to be great, you know. So for me, I just enjoy the moments. You know, live performance and production is two different worlds. And obviously, I'm not the performer. I'm a musician. You know, I'm a drummer, music director. And you know, we rehearse. We get in there and rehearse week after week in order to make the show a great experience for the fans that's pulling up to see us perform. And that's what it's about, us having fun on stage. If you see us perform, man, we just up there doing what we love, up there having fun, enjoying ourselves. That's the most important part. If you can't go up there and do that, then how do you give the fans that's, you know, spent their hard-earned money, the ladies, they went and got their hair nails done, they got an outfit, the kids at the babysitter. You want to give them an experience. And the only way to give them a real experience is to work hard, develop a dope show, but then while you're on stage performing, have a great time. That's all we're doing, is having a good time.
Being that I've performed on stage behind I performed after Immortal Technique, and he had his band.
Wow.
And that was the wrong thing. I would never do that again, especially when you're two-tracking, right? But do you find that it's pressure to recreate that sound live that you created in the studio?
To me, it enhances it.
Okay.
To me, it enhances it because, you know, obviously if we have a song like, for instance, like Say Ya has, you know, certain sound effects and the drums that are there that makes it the track. And you kind of minimize yourself a little as a producer because you don't want to put too much, because you want to leave room for the artist and the writer to come along and do what they do, and now you make a record that you can release to the world. But when you're performing it in this live, all of those little elements and all of those things you probably wanted to add as a producer, you can now add because, you know, we got a live band. We got drums, we got keys, we got bass, we got guitar, and we got Trey. You know what I'm saying? So background singers. So you can do more, you know, when you have a band. And I think that, and the thing that I love too is not having to be locked into something. You know, if you went and pressed play, you know, from the record, it's going to play for whatever amount, however long the song is. 3 minutes is 3 minutes. Now, we up there doing Say Ya, Trey looks into the audience and he's seeing, you know, signs that saying it's my birthday. We're playing, and we finished, you know, all verses, all hooks. We finished Fab's verse, and now he's like, you know, and we keep it going because he wants to point out all of the birthday people. He wants to point out everybody that's, you know, that pulled up, you know, to enjoy themselves. He's pointing dudes out at the top, you know, recognizing them for being in the building, and we're playing and we're going and we're vibing. You can't do that if it's to a track because the song ended 3 minutes ago. Yep. You know, so having a live band that's really in tune to the artist, that's really tapped in, and shout out to my brothers. We've been a band since youngins, man. I played in church alongside these dudes, so I know them and they know me like the back of our hand, and we've been with Trey for 17 years, so we know him. He ain't got to say nothing to say everything.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
So y'all just got your own synchrony.
Yeah, we got a vibe that's untouched, man, where no matter, and shout out to all of the artists and all of the bands, because there's a lot of amazing bands that do what they do, but every band that's rocked alongside us with other artists, they're like, bruh, y'all different. And again, it's because of the brotherhood, and it's because of how we move, how we operate. We're not rehearsing for months at the time. Like you hear, I'm not gonna say no names of artists that'll be in rehearsals for a month for a tour. Like we might go in for a week and put the whole show together, you know, because we messing around and enjoying ourselves and doing push-ups and pull-ups in the corner. And then Trey is like, all right, come on. Like, and
then just having fun.
We putting the show together in 2 days. And then, you know, we'll go out on Between the Sheets tour with us, Chris Brown, and Tiger, and do that. And, you know, do all of the tours we've done, man. It's just us having fun.
Do you find it hard to, like, have, like, a work-life balance?
Yeah, it can be difficult at times. And I think for all creatives, you know, and especially for me, I can speak for me. I want to outwork everybody. You know, so I'm always working. I wake up working. I wake up with ideas. That's how I know I'm up in the morning. You know what I'm saying? When I start thinking of stuff and my thoughts are moving, I'm like, all right, wake up. Go ahead, bro. You up. It's just how it is. So I have kids. You know, I have a family. So that helps me balance a lot more. Before I had kids, it was over. You know, but now that I have kids and, you know, and responsibility and people to take care of, it matters. And then for your mental, you know, that's something that obviously you hear a lot around more in the world in regards to us being mindful of ourselves and self-care and doing things you love to do and having fun, because it can be all work. How do you enjoy your life? Life will pass you right by, you know, if it's all about work. You know what I'm saying? So
Absolutely.
I'm definitely working on that balance of having, like I was playing video games hard last week, like for hours. Like I was on Call of Duty, but I ain't play video games all year. And then I got to right now. And then the thing is, once I start though. So now
I'm about to start streaming.
Yeah, bro.
I'm about to start streaming because I'm one of the top Call of Duty players in the world. I'm not
really?
even joking when I say that.
I don't want no smoke. I play the campaign. So you do the online?
Yeah, I do.
Nah, I don't want no smoke, bro.
But then, you know, if I ain't making no money on it, get off the game, get on the computer. All right, you know what I mean? Like, I got a boss at home too, you know what I mean?
Listen, I always say to the ladies, I think it's my camera right here, listen, would you rather us be outside and missing and can't find us, or would you rather us be on the couch, downstairs, on the living room, playing the game? You can come sit right next to us. You can put your feet up. You know, why don't you play too? You want to grab a control? You can play too.
Like, she ain't messing up my
Let
KD.
us play, man. Let us play, man. Let us play.
Let us relax, man.
Let us relax. Let us play.
So, Platinum Boy Music, it's like a powerhouse brand. How did you come up with that vision for it, and what does it represent for you?
So I remember, quick story, funny story. I needed a name for my publishing company. And I was sitting in the ASCAP office, and I'm terrible with names and sayings and phrases. I'm not the guy for that. And I was just sitting there, and he was like, you need a name, you need to come up with something right now. And I was like, all right, cool. And this is the beginning of my career. This is like in 2000. I was like, all right, I want all the records that I produced to go platinum, and I'm a boy, platinum boy. And it's like, cool, nobody has it. That's it. And then that's how Platinum Boy Music came up. And in regards to the brand, you know, it just started with myself as a producer. When you first start, at least for myself, when I first started creatively, I wanted to do everything. I wanted to do everything. I wanted to be the only producer. I wanted to make all the beats on my own. I didn't want no help. Just wanted to be that guy. And you learn and you grow. It's like, bro, if you incorporate some of these live musicians that you're playing alongside with, and then you start making beats and then adding live instrumentation and doing all of these things, imagine what you could do. Then I've learned, you know, if you put 5 people in the room and you're creating, that's 5 different ways to view that track. It's 5 different perspectives. That's 5 different ideas, you know, that are all great. So when you put all of those together, it matters. So I used to be that guy wanting to do everything on my own, and then it changed, and then I grew, you know, musically as a person, and so I'm really big on collabs. So now we have producers, we have songwriters. I did the artist thing. I had artists signed to me before. It takes a lot of time, a lot of energy. And one thing I'm never doing is playing for people's lives and people's journeys and careers. So it takes a lot of investment, a lot of time. I'm still who I am. I'm still grooming and growing and wanting to pursue a lot of the dreams that I have too. So I didn't feel like it was fitting for me to continue to have artists signed to me. So producers being a part of Platinum Boy was more fitting. So that's kind of where we are today. And just, you know, music, TV, me being an author now, speaking to schools and motivational speaking and music educating, and, you know, it's a huge brand now.
Absolutely, yes. I heard you might be swinging by Storyland.
Yeah.
I'm gonna see if I can pull up with the babies.
Gotta
that
pull
day.
up, man. I think we got a date of December 18th, if I'm not mistaken. Shout out to Suma for reaching out. You know, story of Amadeus and the beat goes on. We're gonna do a book reading and a book signing right there at Storyland. So yeah, you gotta pull up, man.
That's dope. Yeah,
Yes,
we
sir.
slid by there today to speak with her. You
Nice.
know.
Love her,
How
bro.
you doing?
She's a part of the reason why I have the street sign.
Okay.
You know, when they was throwing names in the hat in regards to who would be a good person for the 2024 Bronx Walk of Fame, she threw my name in the pot. So big shout out to her. So anything she needs, anytime she calls, you know, she got it. So shout out to Suma.
Shout out to Suma. So we just kind of spoke on this, but you're known for your work ethic and discipline. What's the lesson from early days in the Bronx that still drives you today?
I mean, I'm from the 9. I'm from 169th Washington Avenue in the Bronx, really tough neighborhood. So I feel like me being from the Bronx, the birthplace of hip hop, but from that area is what taught me the fearlessness that I have. You know what I mean? I always say faith over fear. Like you cannot have faith and then be scared at the same time. Like you got to pick one. You know, for me, it's always faith. No matter how it looks, no matter how difficult it may seem, no matter the challenges that I've faced, no matter how much it seems to be impossible, like you can do anything in life. So that again, the Bronx molded me, shaped me, and into the person, you know, that I am today. That's why I love my city. You know, I don't think I would be me if I didn't come from where I'm from.
Well, yeah, you having a career that spanned this long, you would have to face ups and downs.
Oh, yeah.
And how did you face them challenges? Was it like head on or?
Yeah, I mean, shout out to my parents, you know, my mom and my dad. My late dad, my dad passed away 2 years ago.
Condolences.
And we was in church every Sunday. I hated it then. You know, when I was a little kid, I had to put on a suit and go to church and sit there. I was making sure that whenever I went to church, I was cutting up, acting a fool and embarrassing them until, you know, she took me to a different church in the Bronx, Faith Temple Church of the Living God, where I saw a band. Like, this church had a band. And I was a little kid, and I was seeing kings that looked like me playing. Because when I was in school, they would show me jazz musicians. And jazz musicians didn't look like us. You know, they weren't black kings, you know what I'm saying? So when I went to church and seen young people and young brothers that looked like me, that was catching wreck, you know, on instruments, that was exciting to me. So, you know, my parents, my pastor, my late pastor, Pastor Michelle White, they paved the way, man, and gave me the foundation that I needed to be successful, and the foundation that I needed to be rooted. And you know, you've been in music business and entertainment business, so you know, I feel like it's the devil's playground, you know? So me having that foundation and having that spiritual background, you know, that the devil, I don't play with the devil and the devil don't play with me. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you gotta separate your lifestyle from other people's lifestyle, because what works for someone else doesn't work for you.
Absolutely.
And you know, you might be able to party a couple of nights, but if you party all night, you might get yourself into a situation you can't get out of.
And then it's about exposure too, right? My parents had the kung fu grip on me, man, so I couldn't do nothing. Like it was a challenge just to go outside, just to go in the front to play. And so it was school and church and maybe a little outside. And we did family events, so I'm grateful that we went out as a family. But I wasn't exposed to that. So I wasn't exposed to the party lifestyle. I lived on the block I lived in, but I wasn't in the streets. I learned of the streets, but I wasn't of the streets. You know, so I feel like it's about what you've been exposed to too. So the fact that I wasn't exposed to those different things, that was never a challenge to me. I was always, you know, nurtured and protected in that manner. So the things that flashed before my eyes in the industry, like it didn't faze me one bit, because of, again, my foundation and what I've been taught, and the fear that they put in me in regards to using drugs. And like I'm 43 years old from the Bronx, and it's no shade on anybody. This is my story. I've never smoked weed a day in my life. And when I tell people that, they're like, "What you mean? You make beats for all these people. You in the studio with such and such. You around this. How do you not?" I'm like, "Because my mother told me it was drugs."
No, I hear you.
And at the end of the day, it's not, but that's what she said to me. And I'm gonna listen to my mother. And she told me it was drugs. And if you do that, you're gonna look like that. And I said, okay, well, I'm gonna never do that. But now we're here. Obviously, weed is a different thing, so it's a different culture, and it's not drugs. But still 43 years old, never done that, never did any type of drugs. And people are like shocked when they hear that. So, you know, teaching and protection and covering from a spiritual sense from God and from my parents is a real thing. And just because you're of the hood and you're from the hood doesn't mean that that's who you are and that's what you have to be. You can make a difference, be different, look like them, feel like them, sit like them, you know, but this is a king you're talking to.
Absolutely. And you know, a couple of episodes ago, I spoke to my guy, Tony Bosco, about that. It's like the younger generation coming up now, they all want to be in the street.
Mm-hmm.
And then you got people like him and I who were really from the streets when we were younger.
Mm-hmm.
Man, I just want to be home.
Yeah,
I don't
bro.
mind coming here to do this. I don't mind going to an after party for a few with and then bounce.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Because we know after a certain amount of time, anything could happen. And we don't want that no more.
Yeah.
And I don't want that for this younger generation.
I would always say, what's the benefit of me being there? Like that's the conversation that I have for myself, with myself. Even now, back then, even now, where it's like, okay, this event is happening, this party is happening, we want you to pull up over here. My question to myself is, how do you benefit from going? What comes out of this? What do you get out of this? And if I can't answer that question with something that really matters, then I don't go. No matter what it is, I don't care who party it is, I don't care who's gonna be there. Because I used to be that guy that at a certain point would show up to everything, you know, and I would say, and there's no shots to take pictures, right? You go show up and you pull up to this party, they're taking pictures, you snapping pictures with the different artists and all that, and I would sit back and be like, but what really came out of me pulling up? Me leaving the house is cold, I gotta pay toll, gas money, I got a whole outfit I gotta put on, like, what did I get? What are the benefits? So if I can't say what the benefit is, I'm not there. So if more of the youngins thought of that, you know what I mean, it'll keep them out of trouble.
I know, and a lot of people get upset with me for not popping out as much as I could, but sometimes I say to myself, should I?
It's a real question.
And you know, like you said, is what's gonna come of it from me?
Got to, bro. Time is valuable, and you never get it back. You know, so I would rather be home in the comfort of my space, in my home, protected, safe, warm, and know, okay, I gotta send these emails out, I gotta get this pack out to so-and-so, this, you know, we're working on this tour. Like, even if I'm not doing nothing, I would rather do nothing than to be outside doing nothing.
And getting into something. With that being said, we're gonna take a quick break, and then we're gonna come back with Amadeus, and we get into a few more questions. So, to my peoples in the back. Welcome back to Crash the Industry. I'm here with Amadeus, and we left off on great topics about how to stay out of trouble in the industry and, you know, be home, go where it's necessary to go. So, with that being said, music has changed drastically over the years and production has changed. How do you stay ahead of the trends while keeping your signature style?
I just do me, man. I just do me. I've always done me. When you think about, like, the songs that I produce in my production, I've never really had a sound. People would sometimes know it's me based off the drum programming, because I always say, oh, your drums is hard, your drums is crazy, your drum programming is crazy. But other than that, I've always kind of wanted to shock people, you know, with the sound or with the track I made. So that's why when you think about, like, my resume and the artists that I've worked alongside, it's really huge. You know what I'm saying? Me being from the Bronx, you know, I got, like, you know, records with G-Unit and 50 and Dipset and Fab and, you know, Remy Ma and Pat Poose and then I got, like, records with Justin Bieber and CeeLo Green and Maya and, you know, 112, Danny Kane, and then I got records with The Game and Lil Eazy-E and Paul Wall and Mike Jones and Slim Thug, because I never wanted to be boxed in. You know, I've always wanted to be able to produce and work with anybody. So if you have a sound, sometimes that sound might not work for everybody.
Or it could get dated.
Absolutely. But if you just create amazing music that can work for any and everybody, you know, I feel like that'll allow you to work with any and everybody. So that was kind of, you know, what it is. But, you know, I have a huge respect for music in general. Most times, you know, people will frown upon where music is or say, you know, that's whack or it ain't real hip hop. I've never been that guy because I understand his expression. When I think about growing up and what I listen to KRS-One and Black Sheep and Wu-Tang and Nas, and, you know, that wasn't what my parents grew up listening to. So to them, it was trash. You know what I'm saying? And I remember, it's not even me, but I remember them hurting my feelings saying that, like, because they listened to Michael Jackson and then Stevie Wonder and the Bee Gees, and that was the artist they listened to. So why would I grow up and become an adult and do the same thing that they did? I remember what that felt like. I didn't like that. You know what I'm saying? So I don't frown upon, you know, the drill or what's happening today. Now, is it my cup of tea? Some of it I like, some of it I don't. But notice I said cup of tea. You might drink chamomile, I might drink green tea. It's still tea, but it's the tea that you like, and it's the tea that I like. So we have the choice, a power of choice, to be able to decide what we intake and what we want to listen to. It's a radio station with various stations. So I don't have to listen to what's out right now. If I ain't feeling it, I don't have to vibe with that, but I'm not going to knock it, and I'm not going to speak negative of it because it's not my cup of tea. That's their expression. That's where the sound is, because sound obviously changes. You know, what Michael Jackson was doing is not what Nas is doing. What Nas is doing is not what A Boogie is doing. So it's going to always evolve. It's going to always change. For me to stay relevant is to connect with the youngins. You know, we can show them the way, right, in regards to what we do, and teach them the way, but at the same time, they can show us the way too. I don't make drill music, but if you make drill music and you can give me the blueprint of what that is, then I can make drill music, or I'll make drill music with you. You know what I'm saying? So that's kind of how I stay relevant and in tune, but at the same time, I don't lose my style of production and what I do, because I feel like that'll always be.
So do you feel like we can help elevate what they're doing in drill as being older and guiding them? Like, look, the production is fire. What you're saying sometimes can be negative. How about you switch it? Like, I think they're kind of doing like drill love right now. Have you peeped that?
Yeah, with sexy drill?
Yeah, the sexy drill, right? With Cash Cobain in them.
But think about it, though. Just think about this. Think about what we listen to. Think about Foxy and Lil' Kim. Think about it. Think about what we listening to. They was talking crazy. Trina. Like, I couldn't play that in the house, right? So and I'm saying you and I, but like this generation, like us, the OGs, the young OGs, is trying to, y'all shouldn't be talking about that. Y'all shouldn't, bro, they doing the same thing.
Just a different style.
Wu-Tang, can I listen to a Wu-Tang album in front of my mom's? Nah, Method Man?
I wasn't allowed to bring the Gravediggers album in the house. That was one of my favorite albums.
So it's like, how can we tell them what to say and what not to say? You can't. It's expression. You have the choice of whether you want to listen or not, but you can't tell them what they can say and what they can't say, because obviously somebody like it. If nobody liked it, and it wasn't selling, and they couldn't, sell out these arenas and these venues and perform and have millions of people singing their songs around the world, they doing something right. They expressing themselves.
The only thing that I will say to it is I'm going to be blunt when I say this, the stupidity behind some of it, the negativity behind some of it, where a lot of young kids are getting killed behind their music. Yeah. That's the only part that I say, should we be promoting that in that way? Because there's drill artists that I listen to that I love. That's in my playlist, like K Cartier. Yeah. That's in my playlist. The kid can rap. He's talking negative, but it's the way he does it, and sonically it sounds good, and I listen to it. Then you got Dusty Locane. I listen to him. So there are some artists who do it, and I'm like, oh, this is fire.
Let me ask you a question. Is it really the music? Don't even answer. Let's just sit in silence for 2 seconds. Is it really the music, right? Because if it's the music, let's remove the music. And if we remove the music, and if, let's say, drill stopped tomorrow, will the killing stop? Will the robbing stop? Will the gun stop?
No.
Now, I'm not saying it's okay, but the point I'm making is, just being a buck, is it really the music? No, they have the platforms now
To promote what
to
they're doing.
say what they're doing, but they're still doing what they're doing.
See, that's the difference between our era and this era, is that you have artists that would say it as a past tense or this person. They wouldn't per se say, Amadeus caught a body. They would say such and such, or they would switch the name up. It was a little more articulate.
This
now
artist
it's just
now is doing that. This artist, I heard it the other day and was like, and he's a good friend of mine, and we work together, and right now he's popping in hip hop, and he's our age, and he said it. So it's like, how real are we really being? You know what I'm saying? I don't feel it's the music. Now, obviously, it's like if two crews are beefing,
something's gonna happen.
and they see each other's on. So whether you said something on wax or not, don't even matter. We beefing. So if I see you in the club, I see you at IHOP, is on. Whether you made a song or not. And it's all terrible, but I'm just giving a different idea, different ways to view it, because most times people want to blame hip hop or blame
I'm not
music.
blaming
Not you. I'm just saying in general, people want to blame the music, blame hip hop. Forget hip hop. Let's talk about rock.
Yeah.
Let's talk about R&B. Let's talk about everybody everybody. I want to say it in a clean way. Everybody having sex, because all we hear about is that.
Yeah.
But that was happening since I was listening.
Absolutely.
So it's not just violence, it's sex, it's drugs, it's pills, it's lean, it's all of these different things that are in the hoods, that are in our neighborhoods.
And it's not just in the hoods anymore. It's spread everywhere.
It's everywhere.
Everywhere.
White, black, Caucasian, whatever you are, it's everywhere, bro. It ain't like the only person that goes to the drug dealer is black.
Absolutely
or brown
not.
skin. Nah, they going to help get through college. They're going to help because they can't deal with the pressure of work every day on Wall Street.
Absolutely. I'm glad that you mentioned college, because I wanted to get to this. The Music 101 College Tour has inspired so many young creatives. What's one piece of advice you always share with aspiring producers and artists?
Man, be yourself. And it's so simple and so cliche, but it's one of the realest things I can ever say to anybody. Be you, right? No matter what your name is, no matter where you're from, what you look like, how you dress. We could have on the same hat, we could have on the same outfit, we could be from the same hood, but I'm still not you, and you're still not me. To me, that's one of the superpowers that we all have. You know what I'm saying? If I put my hand up and you look at my hand, I'm the only person in the world with these fingerprints. It's only one me. Your name could be Amadeus too. You can make beats too. You could be from the Bronx too. You could have the same jacket and the same hat. There's only one Amadeus. As a person, there's only one me. There's only one you. So be you. Share the world. Give the world you. You don't have to be nobody else. You don't have to sound like nobody else. You don't have to mimic anybody else. You have to follow someone else's blueprint or path. Be you. Bring the world into who you are and be authentic, be honest, be real, be transparent, because that's what it takes to be successful. Like, you think you gain fans not just only from your music. They might like the way you dress. They might like how you walk. They might like what you eat. They might like your eyelashes. They might like your baby hairs. They might like how you rock your hat to the side. Like, people become fans for a bunch of different reasons. So if you're being authentic to yourself and you're being true to who you are, that's how you really gain a real fan. And at the end of the day, that's how you sleep at night. This is legacy we building.
Absolutely.
You know, your name, when you leave here, your name and what you've done in the world lives on forever. You know what I'm saying? So what do you want that message to be? What do you want that to be? When you leave here, what do you want people to be able to say about you?
Well, you heard it from the man himself. He said, be yourself. And with that being said, I would personally like to invite you back another time to come back and do this again, because there's so much.
Oh, yeah, we can do this.
I'm still only on question 6. I still got so much more to talk to you about.
Yeah, we can do a part 2, a part 3, whatever we need to do.
We want to get into the next part of the segment, but I want to say I appreciate my brother Amadeus for pulling up, and I want to give a big shout out to 88 from the Trenches.
Yes, sir.
They sponsored this segment.
Yes, sir.
And now we're going to get into passing the torch, and we're going to bring on B.Ankha. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Crash the Industry, the show where we go beyond the surface to uncover the raw stories, unshakable grind, and undeniable talent shaping the culture today. I'm your host, Mr. CEO, and today we're diving into the journey of an artist who's proving she's got the drive, the voice, and the vision to make waves, not just in New York City, but across the globe. From writing her first song at just 13 years old to headlining legendary venues like SOBs and dropping hits that resonate universally, B.Ankha is a force to be reckoned with. With influences like Tiana Taylor guiding her hustle, she's become a triple threat, an artist, performer, and engineer who's mastered her craft on stage, one song, and one learning experience at a time. With her breakout single, Shift, gaining traction on the radar with over 50,000 views, and her B-Mix catching the ear of High 97 DJ Spazzo. It's clear that B.Ankha is unstoppable. And did we mention she's already won R&B Artist of the Year and amassed over 200,000 streams in just over a year. Joining us today for passing the torch is the multi-talented and relentless B.Ankha, here to talk about her rise in the industry and lessons she's learned along the way and what's next in her incredible journey. B.Ankha, welcome to Crash Industry.
Hi, thank you for having me. Hey y'all, what's up, what's up? Big BX in the building.
Shay ain't got nothing on me.
You heard?
So how you doing?
I'm great. I'm blessed to be here. Thank you for having me.
I intentionally, with Natalia, paired you up with Amadeus because we felt like it could be a great match to spawn some great music potentially.
Yeah, I mean, y'all don't even know how much of a blessing this pair right here you just did. So listen.
So I hope something comes of it. Eventually, I want to put together a Crash the Industry album.
Nice.
And I have 3 other producers that I want to work with along with you. One of them supposed to be here today, but he couldn't make it.
Okay.
He's a drummer also.
Nice.
My in-house producer, Jake.
Nice, nice.
So I definitely got to pair you with him also.
Okay.
So B.Ankha, you mentioned in your life that it's your main influence. You can share specific life experiences that shaped your songs and how you translate that into music.
Yeah, basically, that's honestly me in a nutshell. Like my music, my message, my energy, everything. Like Amadeus was saying the whole time, like being yourself is very important. Authenticity is everything. So I feel like I have to put it in my music. I have to show it to people. They got to see it when they walk by me, when I'm in a room, my aura and all of that. Sometimes it's hard because it gets a little personal and it's not easy for us as artists to like share that side of us, but I feel like that's honestly why I've gotten as far as I've gotten, because I'm putting that in the music and I'm really letting people hear it and showing them like we're going through the same things, the same things.
I think when you make music personal, it resonates with people. Some days if you on a down and somebody got that pain music, I was just saying this to somebody else, oh, B.Ankha got this pain song, let me throw that on.
Right.
Maybe they having fun today and they want to hear B.Ankha's fun song. So like you gotta have different songs for different moods. That is like classic.
Sometimes, honestly, I write songs even about my friends' experiences and like people around me. Like, let 3 girls be talking about these men that's doing something crazy. I'm like, all right, I'm gonna make a song about it. Even though I'm good and I'm a lover girl and I'm happy and in my skin, I still like to at least dibble and dabble into like even other people's situations because you never know. It's somebody across the world.
You see what I was just saying? She's even talking about somebody else's experiences. And it doesn't always have to be that personal, but it's something personal because you heard it.
My friend is venting to me every day. I know enough information about it.
What's her name? What's her name?
Not too much, not too much.
So that's good that you do that. You know what's funny? I was actually telling your manager that I've heard about you like a couple years ago from one of my best friends, D. Vargas. He's a producer out of Brooklyn. I think he like engineered a session for you or something.
For
He's
me,
like,
yeah.
yo, you gotta hit this girl B.Ankha from the Bronx, and I was just like, who's that? I never. So this is like, and then fast forward, we had another girl mention your name. She's like, yo, I just did this song with B.Ankha, and it was a fire track. So I was like, and then now he reached out to me, and then I think it was like the perfect storm. So from you headlining SOBs to having DJ Spazzo spin your B-Mix, your presence in New York City's music scene is undeniable. What's been the most pivotal moment in your career so far, and why?
So far, I want to say, and I don't want it to sound cliche because for me it's a minimal goal, but for some people it's a maximum goal. So I don't want to like take away from anything anybody else got going on. But for me personally, On the Radar was a big thing for me because I felt like I got the flowers that I deserved in the portion of time that I was grinding and doing what I was doing, and it came natural. Like, you get what I'm saying? Like, people respected my craft, they watched me, I put in the work, and it wasn't something that was like handed to me. I feel like I needed that to like really, how you were saying before, like you working a lot, but you're not realizing how much you're really doing. So I feel like that was a place where even when people saw it, I haven't heard from them in 3-4 years, and they're sending me paragraphs about how they've been watching every little thing I've been doing. Like, this is what I deserve. This is like a certain pivot in my life. And I just feel like I kind of needed that to really continue, like, in the space that I want to be in and just growing. And it was a confirmation that, like, me sticking to being myself and just doing that along the way was really going to benefit me in the end. And I was going to accomplish even things I didn't think was really attainable at the time or important.
Now, it's funny that you said that, because from that same specific situation is how he was like, I recognize your face.
Exactly.
So how do you feel about that when artists may be like, oh, this is a minimum goal, a big goal, but it's still a goal?
I mean, like I said, I think we was talking off air, and I talked about like just taking a short step. Like, if you know, people always think about a gigantic step, right? But if I went from here to here, I don't know, it didn't seem like much, but I'm not in the same spot I was just in. You know, so you're moving. So you know, we all have goals, and sometimes we set really high goals. You know, and sometimes it can be far-fetched or seem far-fetched, but it's a goal. So I love that she was honest and transparent, and I think that's really important as an artist, as you mentioned, being vulnerable. Because like I said, people become fans of you for different reasons. Like, somebody might like your baby hair, somebody might like the lipstick you wear, somebody like the drip, you know, the fur you came in here on. They don't even see the fur, but
I know,
you know, the fur you came in on, you know what I'm saying? Like, so it's different reasons of why people become fans. The more vulnerable you are, the better. You know, and it's difficult for you because it's like, man, the whole world knows that my favorite color is this, or the whole world knows that I like to shop here, or this is how I laid my baby hair. Like, the whole world knows, but it's a beautiful thing because there's so many little girls and women that'll look towards you or look up to you that you can have influence over, and you have an amazing spirit, amazing vibe, amazing talent, you know, so why not you?
Right.
You know,
but sometimes until you do things like that, you don't really know that that's like for you.
Yeah.
Even that, like, for like the 2 weeks after that got aired, so many people was like just reaching out to me that I haven't heard of, like I said, and just like, damn, like, I haven't seen your Instagram in a little while, but I saw it again, and like, now you're on the radar, like, you doing what you said you would do, whether it was in college, they saw me, high school, whatever it is. And that alone, just the fact that I'm still doing it, was enough inspiration for people. And I'm like, damn, I'm touching y'all in that way, and I'm not even aware that I'm doing that with me just doing my music, because I'm just doing me.
Yeah.
Like you said, I'm just doing me.
So, like, your latest single, Shift, has gained massive traction, and your performance on the Radar was a hit. What's the inspiration, and what do you reflect on, and what do you plan on doing creatively next?
Well, since I kind of already like announced it on Hood Media, shout out to Hood Media, but I am gonna be dropping an album the top of 2025. I know it's a little scary as an artist because people are, especially now, always like, drop your singles. They don't know you like that. Yeah, like.
Which I agree with.
Don't give them, yes, I get it. I get it. But I feel like, to be honest, the album is for me. Like, no shade to y'all, but it's not even for y'all. It's for me. I haven't dropped a big body of work since 2018.
Wow.
And the reception I got from that, I didn't even know how much I needed it until it came later on down the line. So I feel like this album, like you mentioned my B-Mix before, I'm very versatile on my B-Mix. I'm doing rap beats, I'm taking it back to the 90s, like I'm doing anything that they would never think I would be on as an R&B singer, I'm touching it.
Okay.
So I feel like some people along the way forgot that I could sing, and that my core is still R&B. So I feel like this is kind of like, I'm giving them that gift to just remind them, like, don't forget about that.
Okay, because I kind of heard you say something over there, and you cited Tiana Taylor as a big influence for her ability to overcome adversity and excel as a triple threat. What's the biggest challenge you faced in the industry, and how did you push through it?
I still feel like I face it. The biggest will probably just be like respect for me as a female and a singer. It's a lot. I'm in a lot of showcases where I'm the only female, the only singer. I'm in a room full of a lot of men most of the time. With the internet, because we got social media and people are have so much access to our lives, I feel like they know us. They think they know us. So also, like, balancing that perception of like what people think and what you really are in person, that's also important. I just feel like it's hard in general, and it's always gonna be like that for me, just because it's a male-dominated industry. And yes, the females are killing it right now, but it's still always hard to just make yourself known in every single room. What helps?
You got to always command your respect.
Yes, that's what I was gonna say. But what helps me naturally, not even to brag, is I just walk in and be myself. Like my manager still sometimes be like, "You good? You nervous?" And I'm like, "Nah, I'm chilling. I'm not even treating this as like, oh my gosh, I have to be poor." Like I'm being me.
Big Bronx energy.
Yeah,
Big
like
Bronx energy.
I will never stop that for nobody.
Absolutely.
I just can't, cause I would be smacking my brand in the face.
So where did the dancing part come in?
It started with dancing. I started as a dancer.
Like
I
hip hop
was-
dancing?
Everything, hip hop, ballet, jazz, tap, all of that good stuff. Don't get me started because I do this little move
Hey.
in the party.
I got one move.
But I was a part of a National Dance Institute from elementary school, 5th grade.
Nice.
So I always loved that. And for some reason, I could dance anywhere, but singing, too shy at the time.
Okay.
At the time. You're better now.
Yeah.
Okay.
I used to literally like turn your back real quick and then I'll start singing.
Oh, you had the Saya effect where you couldn't
Yes.
sing in front of the crowd.
So I feel like that's why dancing was so important to me, and I started that way. It was easy. I love to dance still to this day. He asked me, do I want a mic stand? No, because I can't stay still. I'm over there, over here, back
Right.
there, like I'm dancing.
See, that's a performance, though. A lot of people
Right.
don't know how to perform.
I want it needs to be a vibe. The
Okay.
song is on. Why are we standing there looking at each other?
So with that being said, with over 200,000 streams in just over a year, your momentum has been undeniable. How do you balance creating music that's true to you while keeping up with the demand of the fast-moving pace of the industry?
Whatever they tell me to do, I don't do it. If there's a trend, I'll wait till I'm ready and feel like I genuinely want to give that a try. The sexy drill in general, when y'all brought it up, the amount of people that was like, yo, you gotta do this. And I'm like, but why?
Right.
Let Cash have it. Even if I do try it, you're not gonna hear it.
Yeah.
I'm just trying it to try it and dibble and dabble in things, but that's not me as an artist. Like, I don't need to latch onto that. But
I love that.
again, that's me just, I'd be like, nah, I'm gonna stick to what I
What
know.
I tell my artists that I work with is find your niche, give them your niche. Like if they go into the restaurant for steak and you have steak, serve the steak, and once in a blue as a dessert, get a pie out or whatever. You don't want to give them what everybody's giving them because you tend to not sound like you, and then your fans are like, "What's this?"
Exactly. And then who are you in that bunch of all the people that's doing the same kind of music?
Yeah, you can't chase the sound.
Not at all. You can't.
I love what she said, and I think as a producer, that's why I'm still here. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Like,
chase the
it's
sound.
people that came in and did what they did and made heavy noise, but it's like, bro, I'm still here though. Like,
Yeah.
25 years later, I'm still here,
Strong.
still working, still, people still know my name. It still stands what it stands on. So I love the fact that as an artist, you're like, I do it when I want to do it. You know what I'm saying? That's like when
Thank
the
you.
trap came out. And me being from New York, when Atlanta was on fire, and everybody from New York started making trap beats. I was like, nah, I'm still making this boom bap until I felt, like B.Ankha said, it was time for me to attempt it. And then when I did attempt it, it was heavy Bronx all over the trap. So it didn't even sound like what they were making. It was my approach to it. It's how I felt trap would sound if I touched it. So I love that that's, where you're at with
We
it.
can't force it. Especially being from the Bronx, we cannot force it.
Being from New York in general.
Yeah, right,
like,
exactly. Let
New
me
York
not-
has its own sound. Even when New York took over drill, and we did take over drill for a while,
We did.
we gave it our own sauce, our own, shout out to everybody who did it, pop, everybody. So touring internationally is one of your ultimate goals. If you could perform anywhere in the world, where would it be, and what would you do and think of the moment, and what would it mean to you?
Okay. So I used to say like Dubai and all of that, but they got a lot of restrictions, so I don't know if I'm ready for that as of yet. Because it's your show, you want to do it how you want to do it. So I feel like that'll be in due time. But honestly, London. London is like my top one. And I know it's kind of corny, my reason. I just love like the accent, and I feel like the culture would be dope. And I feel like anytime you see like somebody from the UK or anything like that collabing with New York artists or something, it's just fire. Like that synergy is just fire. So if anything, it would definitely be London. I'm gonna show off my little accent because they're not gonna play with me. And I just think it would be dope to just go to somewhere that's completely different from where I'm at.
You're gonna love it, by the way.
Hey, can I step
yeah?
in for 1 second? So hopefully, when Trey is going into London, can we help get her open? Can we get her
Open that up.
opening spot
Put it
one
into
day?
the atmosphere. Put it into the atmosphere.
So let's
Love
put
it.
that out
Speak it into
there. Hopefully,
existence. Yeah.
we can speak that into existence. You could get
She
an
would
opening
love it.
shot
Yes,
for Trey.
I would love that. I would love that.
And you know, when y'all look back on it, just be like, yo, Sha, you made that happen.
Absolutely.
We was on
Absolutely.
crash
That's the
the
reason why I
industry when we said
definitely
it.
put you guys together. So with that being said, we all want to see what your performances is like. So we definitely want to get into that. Before we do, Amadeus, give them your Instagram, your handles,
Absolutely.
and where they can reach you at.
Amadeus, AMADEUS, PBM on Instagram, and IamKingAmadeus.com.
And you, B.Ankha.
Well, y'all can find me any and everywhere as long as you spell it correctly. B.Ankha, B.Ankha. Ankh, heavy.
So your album, you plan on dropping top of the year. What do you got coming up for us, Amadeus?
Man, I'm gonna sit myself down.
I need the details on that book, December 18th.
Yes,
got the book?
yes,
You got the
yes.
book?
Oh yeah, the book, yeah, all that. Man, I'm going to sit down somewhere, man. I've been working and working and working and working and then working and working and working. So for December, I got a few little things to do, but I'm home for the rest of the year. Actually, I do have to go to Vegas for Dre's. I have a residency in Dre's nightclub as a resident drummer.
Okay.
I do have that New Year's Eve weekend. Other than that, I'm going to be home.
Call of Duty.
Enjoying, heavy
Yep.
Call of Duty.
Balance.
Heavy, yeah, see? Self-care.
So before we get out of here, what's one small piece of advice you would love to give B.Ankha?
Man, she ready. She's ready. I love her head where she's at mentally, spiritually, physically. I don't know, man. She want to go to one of my favorite places. London is where I love to perform. I feel like she got it.
Thank you.
Well,
And
it was
that's big for me to say that.
Yeah, right? I'm
Okay.
over
Like
here
she got
like,
it.
it's a blessing to have both of y'all here.
Honored.
Thank
So
you,
we got
thank you.
one more quick conversation I have to have with my brother who
Yeah, these are
brought these
hard.
through.
These are
Yeah.
fire. I
88
need
for the
both of those.
trenches. And then we're gonna get to your performance. So
Yes.
while you go get set up for that, I'm gonna bring my boy Buck on and we
do it.
gonna get to it, all right?
sound good?
To y'all. Welcome back to Crash the Industry, and right here we have a special guest straight out of Brooklyn. We have Buck Madoff, one of the co-founders of 88 for the Trenches. This is a visionary entrepreneur dedicated to empowering urban communities through fashion. Alongside Kateem Capers and Jameen Biggs, he built the brand as an homage to the hustle and resilience of the inner city youth. Inspired by the success stories of 1988, worn by the cultural icons like rapper Young M.A., hip-hop legend Memphis Bleak, and comedian Drewski. 88 for the Trenches has cemented its place as a staple in urban fashion, representing authenticity and ambition for the trenches. Authenticity. I said that a little ghetto, but nice to have you here, my brother.
Thank you for having me.
So, what inspired you to create 88 for the Trenches, and how does the brand pay tribute to the legacy of 1988 in the inner city?
Well, how I was thought about was just like a crazy story. Like, it's like nothing ever heard of. Like, I was high. You know what I'm saying?
A lot of stories started high.
Nah, I'm joking. It was a joke. It was a joke. Nah, but yeah, we was just chilling. Like, I'm just a person that just does what I want. Like, I was doing music. I throw shows. I throw events. I throw parties. I just do what I want. You know what I'm saying? And one day, I had a daughter. I was working 2 jobs. I have no time with her. So I'm like, yo, I need to find a way to make some good money in a little bit of time because I want to spend time with my daughter. I can't be doing this shit for 20 years because of course I want her to look good. I want to look good. So I need something, you know what I'm saying? So this was in my head for like a couple of years. And we were again smoking. I went to my homie crib, we chilling. I'm like, yo, who wanna make hats? It's like 4 people in there. And my homie knows me, he knows what I do, he like me. So we just kind of quickly thought of the design, thought of 88. We didn't have for the trenches yet. We knew it was just the year that we wanted to do. And we just started with that. We didn't have a lot of stuff that we have now. We didn't have a logo. The brand was actually called 88, like you finish eating, because I just knew I wanted 88. And that look ugly when you spell it out like 88. But again, you don't have to have all of the answers. I just want people to know that you don't have to have all of the answers.
Gotta start somewhere.
Just start. So we don't have a name at that time. We don't have a logo. We still moving in the streets, you feel me? So it was just, one of those things that was just organic, just from thinking.
It was just
and
an
creating.
idea.
Yeah, it was just an idea. It wasn't I know this is gonna work. I know it's gonna happen. Cause I'm at the beginning. I'm pricing. Yo, should it be 30 or 50? You know, and I just ran with 50 because I know I paid 50 for a hat. That's the only reason I did it. I didn't believe in it that much. But then you start seeing the reaction, and then the universe tells you what's what. I can't call this out. The universe told me it was hot.
Okay, that's the dope backstory. So with influential figures like Young M.A. and Memphis Bleak and Drewski rocking your brand, how do you see 88 for the Trenches shaping the culture and the fashion in the future?
Well, we got a lot of ideas, man. I don't want to say them.
Don't.
No, I'm not. I just want people to see, and it's gonna be like some shit that people didn't do yet. Like I just know how my brain works, and once I see a little something, I know where I could take it. The reason I knew this was hot was because there's a popular store in Brooklyn called Vinny's. Shout out to Vinny Styles, and this was like the moment I knew. We first got in Vinny's, so I told my partner, yo, if we could sell out in 2 weeks, I'm as confident as ever. If we could sell out in 2 weeks, that's what I'm telling him. My confidence will be up here. We go eat pizza. We walk back to the crib because we hype because Vinny's is a staple in Brooklyn. Like if you know Vinny's, we're writing up the invoice to send to them. We get a call. Yo, Vinny's calling. Yo, y'all sold out 3 hours. And that's the moment I knew. All right, we got something. Time to lock in. That's the moment, like, I knew to lock in.
I'm telling you, I was passing by Tom D's and I seen the hat. And I'm like, yo, what is that? And I was like, I'm gonna double back. And then I see it online, and I see a picture of you running down on, I think, Keene with the.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, what's that? Then I go back to a couple of pictures and I see you running down, like handing more people the hat. And then I see people performing with the hat, taking pictures. And I was like, yo, this is dope. And the funny thing is, Amadeus walks in today and he's like, yo, this is mean, what's this? And I was like, that's the boy right there. He was like, I need to get that. So you do got a dope product. It is stylish, it's fly, it is the hood, it is hip hop, it is fashion. So with that, what challenges have you faced while building 88 for the Trenches, and what advice would you give aspiring entrepreneurs from the urban communities?
Some challenges are sticking to what you do. So, you know, of course, people, yo, make sweatsuits, make hoodies, make this, make that. You have to, and it's hard, because I'm a creative, and I have ideas I have tons of ideas. You'll see in a couple years, but it's hard to stay focused on what you do, but you have to do it, or you should do it. Because if you have what's working, don't fix it if it ain't broke.
Absolutely.
Don't fix, and I get it. You want to do this, you want to do that. I get it. We're human. We want to show we're really smart and we want to just show what's in our head, but it's business. And you have to separate personal and business.
So if you could get your hat onto one.
Hove.
Well, with that being said, we're going to definitely try and get this hat to Hove. And I seen when he passed it off to Bleak, I knew where he was going. That's why I asked that question. So with that being said, that's 88 for the Trenches. The show was sponsored today by 88 for the Trenches. And I want to give you a big shout out. I appreciate you for coming through.
Appreciate you for the invite.
We could do another episode. And right now, we're just going to get into the performances with B.Ankha.
Let's get it.
What's up, y'all? I go by the name of B.Ankha, just in case you forgot. And this right here is called Mind Games. Out everywhere. You keep throwing blame. Bet that bat won't swing my way. Telling me what I do wrong. A list of complaints I see. But you gon' eat those words you say. Ha! Turn me off, then turn me away. Blindsided, you my munching. Your true colors came in waves. Thought I found in you what I was missing. See, you get so defensive. No, you never listen. Your mind's in the distance. Triggers got me reminiscing. You steady with the mind game, but ain't gon' put that on me. I see you steady with the mind games, but ain't gon' put that on me. I've been trying to take the ride, take time, but you got pain that you should seek. And I see you steady with with the mind games, but ain't gonna put that on me. On me. Hold on, listen, I done told you about my patience. For granted, you gon' take it. Can't cover that with love making. No position can erase it. Let's get back to the basics. First class communication. Let's have them conversations. Then skip to trading places. Double back now, so you know it's me. I'll be too honest. How does that sound when you close to me? You gotta want it. You get so. No, you never. Your mind's in the distance. Triggers got me reminiscing. You steady with the mind game, but ain't gon' put that on me. Never that. I see you steady with the mind games, but ain't gon' put that on me. Cause I've been trying to take time, but you got pain that you should seek. And I see you steady with the mind games, but you ain't gon' put that on me. Put that on me, yeah. Oh, whoa. I see you steady with the mind games, but ain't gon' put that on me. Put that. This is my favorite new single, Shift, out everywhere on all platforms. Shift that energy. Wherever it's needed, that's where you gotta go. Shifting. It really don't mean a thing. I can make that change. If it ain't part of my plan, then I'm shifting the mood. No consequence. Really gonna press that. If it ain't part of my plan, then I'm. Oh, it's easy to cut through a path straight to a lane that feeds me. Oh, it's easy. So you better believe them when they say they see me. It's all in the way that the public perceive me. Yes, I got handles, can they handle it? Shifting my direction. They do anything for a mention. Policy put in for my protection. I got control. Will never let go, no. Gon' see how the cookie crumble, cause you know it don't. A thing, yeah. If it ain't part of my plan, then I'm mood. No consequence, yeah. If it ain't part of my plan, then I'm shifting, yeah, yeah. Shifting the mood. Whoa. Shifting. You can bop through the TV, bop with me now. Hey, 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 hey. Mood. Shifting the mood. Hey, yeah. Shifting the mood. B.Ankha. Yeah. Yeah, 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 yeah. Shift that. Thank y'all so much.
I want to say great performance.
Thank you.
Great performance.
Thank you.
Yo, Buck, come up here, Buck.
New York, what's up, New York?
And that was another
we in New
episode
York, right?
of Crash the Industry. Shout out to Amadeus, B.Ankha, and Buck Madoff. And we out of here.
This is hip hop.